How's it going, everybody? This is BeatTheBush. Amato sent me this digital meat thermometer, and I'm not actually going to cook meat with this. I'm actually going to make tea instead and show you how to properly make tea. First, I'm going to unbox this for you, and then I'm going to test out different teas steeped at different temperatures to see really if there's a difference or not. It says it will be your best choice. It says working voltage 1.5 included. That does not mean include a battery though. Put a battery in. And then it seems like it turns on when you flip this open. So it'll get to about 98.5. That's what the body temperature is. It went over a little bit. It's going back down. So then it became pretty stable at 98.7. I might be a little warm from maybe talking. So now let's look at what temperature to steep your tea at. I've got to tell you, most of the time when I make tea, I don't exactly follow by this chart, mainly because I don't have a thermometer like this to stick in my water all the time. For black tea, experimentally, I figured, yeah, it needs to boil before you can make good black tea. Boiling is 212 Fahrenheit. However, for white and green teas, you kind of want it to cool down a bit, not exactly boiling because you can actually burn the leaves and it won't taste very good. Now there's a temperature aspect and there's also the time at which you should steep it for. Sometimes the crushed leaves in a tea bag takes a little less time, whereas if you have full leaves that are in like little balls and it's a whole leaf after you steep it, then you might need a little bit longer, generally maybe a minute more. So it's important to note you don't have to go by this by the letter. You just go, oh, exactly 3 minutes, right? Sometimes maybe you want things to taste a little bit stronger or a little bit lighter. So it really depends on your preferences. You might try a different temperature at which you start steeping, and you might try a little longer or less long depending on your taste preferences. Today I'm going to make some black tea with varying starting temperatures at 212, 208, and also one at 200 just to see how different they actually taste. This one is 212, 202 is 190. So about 10 degrees Fahrenheit difference for each one. I'm going to start the timer. I'm going to actually steep it for 3.5 minutes. 2 minutes in and you can see the color is tiny little bit different. Okay, I'm going for 3.5 minutes. 8, 7, 3, 2, 1. It's probably a little too hot to drink right now, but I'm gonna try a little bit. These are bell teas, by the way. I got them while I was in New Zealand. Good for milk and sugar added to it. But I need to taste it without the milk and sugar because it masks the flavor of the tea. So I'm just testing the tea just now. It's actually hard to tell the difference though. It seems like the hottest one, which is supposed to be brewed that way, has a little bit more body to it. This one brewed at a lower temperature kind of tastes like cheaper wine when it tastes kind of a little bit more watered down. I mean, it still tastes like black tea and it still tastes good. It's just very subtle. There's a very subtle difference between these. I mean, I'm glad I'm doing this test with different temperatures because now I kind of know what a really well brewed black tea is compared to a not as good. The really well brewed black tea, the water was actually boiling. When I put the tea bag in there, it just kind of splatters a little bit. So that's when you know it's really, really hot. So I like milk tea much, much better than just regular black tea. So I'm going to put my milk and sugar in each one of these. This is warmed milk because I don't want to reduce the temperature too much. You know what, I just realized I probably haven't been brewing my black tea hot enough because my morning black tea actually tastes like this. Yeah, it's black tea, but then it feels like it's a little watered down, kind of like cheap milk is a little bit watered down. Or like cheap wine, it's a little bit watered down. It's kind of there, but not fully. You know what, I've been going to those boba places and I've been wondering, how come their tea tastes better than mine? I mean, I'm brewing it just the same. I add milk, I add sugar. Yeah, it tastes like this. It's surprising. I'm surprising myself. And this is really, really watered down. You know, with the milk and sugar, these two taste similar. It's almost as if there's a cliff where you have to get it pretty hot in order to get the true flavor out. This tastes more like what I'm really into, which is royal milk tea. Royal milk tea has this really strong royal flavor. This is very interesting. Well, I guess I've been brewing my black tea all wrong all this time. I guess I couldn't tell that much of a difference when I didn't add the milk and sugar because I normally have milk tea as the default. I don't go and drink black tea. I drink milk tea in the morning. So I have a palate that is very adjusted, attuned to the flavor of milk tea. And when it's good, you can kind of tell a little bit better. So I needed to add the milk and sugar to figure it out, it seems. Well, I'm pretty pleasantly surprised by using this thermometer on my hot tea because now I can actually make better hot tea. This thermometer is actually for meat stuff really. When you're grilling or something, you stick it in to make sure you cook the meat. So you kind of need to know what the temperature of the meat every single time you cook. Whereas for milk tea, you can just gauge it to the point where you know it's boiling. For me, I would know the next time I need to make the water really hot before putting in the black tea. Now when you go and make your own black tea, you just gotta make sure it's really boiling. You don't actually need the thermometer for this. I hope for those of you that drink a lot of milk tea, you can have something to take away from this because making it does make a difference. I wouldn't have noticed until I compared them side by side like this. Don't forget to give me a like on this video, comment down below. Let me know if you already make sure your hot water is completely boiling before you make your black tea. Don't forget, Amato gave me this product for free. You can check out their product down in the video description. If you're interested in supporting this channel, I have an Audible link down in the video description. I have a Patreon link also over here. And don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching.